Hi, and welcome to Healthy Happy, out of the darkness and into His marvelous light. Please join us today. We have a great show planned for you. I've got a very special friend here with me today. Her name is Marty Putman. You want to say hi?
Hello.
She's going to be with me today, and we're going to be talking about the program that we've been doing to get healthy. It's called Optavia. And it's not available in every country right now. It's available in the United States, and they are branching out to Hong Kong and Singapore. But hopefully there'll be other countries added in the near future as well. So if you're interested in this particular program, hopefully you'll be able to get it in your country as well. But if you're in the U.S., Hong Kong, or Singapore, you'll be able to jump on this program if it's something you think will be helpful to your life. Because the goal of this radio program is to help people get healthy and to break chains of addiction. So we're going to talk about Optavia because that's what Marty and I have both done, and it's really helped us change our eating habits and even how we think about food. So I think the first thing I want to ask Marty is, what made you decide to even do the program?
Well, I think it's mainly because I'd been trying to lose the same 20 pounds for more years than I can even count. And then in 2018, it really had become 30 pounds. By last Christmas, by this time last year, I was the heaviest I had ever been. So I all of a sudden had 30 pounds to lose. And I just felt horrible. I just felt yucky, and I wanted to feel better. My hands had started to hurt, like the joints in my fingers. And at first, I thought I had just maybe hurt a finger with doing something. But then, as it progressed, and more of the joints in my hands were hurting.
Yes.
And I talked to my physician about it, and she said, "Well, you probably have some arthritis starting." And so I didn't know if getting the weight off would help that, but I thought, well, it's worth a try.
Yeah.
I had been watching my friend Michelle, that she was being successful, and she and I had tried several diets together through the years.
Yes.
And I'm kind of a serial dieter. That's actually one of the reasons. Around Christmas of 2018, my daughter, who's now 25, said, "Oh, Mom," and it was a passing comment. I'm sure she doesn't even remember she made the comment, but she said, "Oh, Mom, you've been dieting my entire life." And it just really hit me that her whole memory of me was I was always dieting.
Yeah.
And so I decided it's just time to stop. It's time to stop, get this done. And if I had help getting it done, then I felt I could maintain.
Yes.
So anyway, watching Michelle be so successful, and I was actually even a little embarrassed when I first talked to you and said, I really only want to lose 20 pounds. And then I realized, okay, it really was 30. But you were so kind and gracious, and you just said, okay, well, let's do it.
And, and there's no reason to be embarrassed. Yeah. Everybody starts at a different place.
Right. But I was really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because I was almost like, it's only 20 pounds. I should be able to do that. But obviously, I'd been trying a long time, and I hadn't.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Now.
And that's awesome, because it was the same for me. I've lost 91 pounds now.
Wow.
And it was the same for me. I could only get maybe I could get 20 pounds off by myself. And then I would always stall at the same place.
Right.
So my coaches, were really great.
Past that.
Helped me as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do. I mean, you are so much of the reason that I was successful. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So what happened with you, when you were starting out the program?
So I don't even know if I knew the name. I don't know if we had really So I knew you were doing something. So honestly, when I first looked at it, the cost was a little bit of a hurdle for me to get over.
Yeah, it's a
'Cause
hurdle for a lot of people.
yeah, I'm like super frugal, and to do the math and think, oh, those bars are $3 a bar, and but talked with my husband. He was really supportive, and he's like, if you want to do this, it's we're not going to be buying food, so this is the budget will just go over there instead. So anyway, it was I just got past that, and oh my goodness, today I'm so glad I did, because it was worth every penny to just to finally get the weight off, but not just get the weight off, but just feel the freedom that that being 30 pounds less has brought. That's been really, really great.
Yeah, and you had some physical things that happened with you as well when you got on program.
Oh, right. The surprises.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So first of all, my hands quit hurting.
Yeah.
And even now, a little bit of it, since I've started adding back food, a little bit of it has come back, but for the most part, my joints don't hurt. And the biggest surprise of all, that wasn't even part of my why, wasn't even part of the goal, that I have migraines. I just live with them. They're just part of life. I just learned to manage them over the years. They were gone.
I love that.
In the 7-8 months that I actively was sort of doing the program, I never really actively did it more than about 2 week stretch. Because I always say that's another part of our discussion. I traveled a lot during that time. Whole 7-8 months, I might have had one a month instead of 2 a week, which is
great.
Yeah, which is what I usually have. So I used to refill my migraine medicine about once a month, and I refilled it one time in the whole time I was actively doing Optavia.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing, and it was such a surprise, and so yeah, it was wonderful.
What kind of support did you get during the program?
Well, you were amazing, and I could text you or call you at any moment and say, I think I can't do this, or being really, so you have to make sure you give yourself time to actually learn the program. I honestly didn't read the first 5 chapters until I was at least 3 months in, and I wish I had read the first 5 chapters in the very beginning.
That's great.
Before I even started. So I now think everybody should read the first 5 chapters, because it makes a difference.
It does make a difference.
You understand the program, you understand what it's all about, you understand the design of it. So to do the first 5 chapters before you even start your first fueling, and then do it again.
Yes.
About a month in, because then you'll have different insight into the first 5 chapters and what they're explaining.
Yes, and just so the audience knows, when you do this particular program, you get a book and a workbook and a guide, but before your first box even comes, your coach, whoever that is, will text you each day leading up to you getting your first box. Well, in one of those texts is the first 5 chapters. And it really is super important to get those read before you start the program, because it helps you get your mindset right before the program starts. And just so you know what we're referencing, a fueling are the things that you get from the company that you eat. And then there's also something we'll discuss in a minute called lean and greens, and that's a meal that you prepare on your own, and they have specific guidelines surrounding that meal. So that's a little reference for anybody who's not familiar with the program, so you kind of know what we're talking about. But the goal of this program is to help you get to a healthy weight, to do it in a healthy way. But while you're getting to your healthy weight, you're doing the book and workbook, so you're learning to rethink food, so that by the time you get to the end, you don't have to gain your weight back. Hopefully by the time you're done, you get to your healthy weight, you move through a transition period, and then into maintenance. Maintenance is the rest of your life. But by the time you get there, all of these old habits you had should be broken. and you've learned how to rethink food and how to apply food in a way that it's nourishing you instead of making you fat, fat and diseased. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Marty she's done great. And I really love that she pointed out that maybe 2 weeks at a time was her biggest like stretch, because that's the one thing that's amazing about when you're a coach, you're dealing with people in all different kinds of lifestyles. So you learn how to encourage people where they're at. So like with Marty traveling, sometimes she would eat on program a little more traveling and less traveling on different trips, depending on how her trips were. So those are all things you work through with your coach before you even go on your trip. So you both know how you're going to handle those. And anyway, but that's one of the things I really love about coaching, because when you have your different clients, you're also being super creative to help them do their best when they're traveling or with whatever their normal daily schedule is or whatever.
So there's language that you quickly learn, but there's like the 5 and 1 and the 4 and 2, and so while I was traveling, Michelle and I would discuss it ahead of time, and a lot of times I would 4 and 2 instead of 5 and 1, and so that just means how many fuelings am I going to do in a day, how many meals am I going to eat, what am I going to look for when I'm eating.
Yes.
When you're facing a buffet, what am I looking for on that buffet that I can have, and that to keep me, because the whole goal is to keep yourself within the fat burn range. Yes. And that makes all the difference in the weight loss. One of my favorite stories is I was walking into Walmart about 8 to 10 weeks into the program, and I was texting Michelle and saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm like feeling guilty because like the fat is just like melting away. I've gone down 2 sizes in just a couple of weeks, and because it takes your body time to get into the fat burn, and then it's significant.
Yes,
there'll be this stretch of significant weight loss." So anyway, I was walking in Walmart feeling like really guilty that like this was so easy. I'm really not doing much. I'm just eating and I'm losing weight. But then it makes you want to walk through Walmart and talk to everybody and say, "I have this really great program that would help you if you're interested."
I know. I love that, because I feel the same way when I see people that I know it would really help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to embarrass anybody, but I have an answer.
Yeah, you really do. And
like
I said, I think I've tried them all. And this one is by far the easiest. Now, it doesn't mean there's not a learning curve. There is, and you have to give yourself time to learn. You have to learn to prepare the food. You have to learn how to set your schedule to make sure you're getting your fuelings. You have to learn the design of the program. So that takes some time.
Yeah.
But overall, of all the different things we tried together,
yes,
it's by far the easiest.
Yeah, it is.
Anything.
I agree.
And then the water thing, you got to keep up with your water every day, and you got to measure it. Yeah. And I know that sounds silly, but you're just like, oh, I'll just drink 3 of those, and I'll be fine. No, then you're not going to be getting your water. Yeah. So you, again, your coach will have a formula for how much water you need to be drinking, and you need to measure that. You need to set it on the countertop, and you need to make sure by the end of the day that water is gone. And I really suggest that like by dinner it's gone, so you're not up all night. But so just water is essential. You got to be getting your water in.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good to point out too, because that almost doesn't matter what program you're doing. You still need to make sure you're getting enough water.
Right. And it's harder for me in the winter.
Yeah, because you get cold.
Yeah, it's cold. I don't like ice cold water in the winter. So I learned in the winter, I don't put ice in it. And I don't love it. I don't really want to drink that much water in the winter. Yeah. But I do. I just make myself do it.
Yeah.
So in the summer, I'm craving water. In the summer, I'm like, lots of ice, and I want
Yeah, because
lots of
we're in
water.
Texas, so it's really hot during the summer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
but you
hot.
know, the other day I was encouraging some people to get a thermos, fill it full of hot water, keep that with you, and just sip on hot water
Hot
during the
water.
winter because we're cold anyway.
I hadn't even thought of that. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah. So sometimes instead of making coffee, if I'm needing more water, I'll just boil some water and drink some hot water, and it's still
That is
warming me up like
Yeah.
the coffee would.
I mean, and that's a good
but I'm getting my
point.
water in.
It does need to be water.
Yes. Yes.
Not water with lemon.
Yeah.
It needs to be water.
Yes, because your body needs it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very good. That's
If
very
I were
good.
working, this would be so easy
Yeah.
because you really don't have to think.
No, you don't. Just make sure you're eating on time.
You just grab 5 fuelings and have them ready to go, and make sure you get your water. And then when you get home, you do a lean and green, and that sounds way easier than cooking 3 meals a day.
Oh yeah, it is. It is much easier. And you're right. If you just plan your 5 fuelings ahead of time,
Yep.
that morning or the night before, you're ready to go the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great. So with your lean and greens, Marty, she was the only one in her home doing this plan. So her husband wasn't on it. She's an empty nester. So how did that go with just you being the only one at the house doing the plan?
Ultimately, it was really good. He was super supportive of my doing this. It did, but I was still cooking for him. So I was cooking things that I wasn't going to eat because he could have potatoes, but I couldn't have potatoes. And,
Right.
Whatever. And sometimes it was, he would want to go out to eat for lunch. I'm like, well, I can't eat for lunch because I got a fueling, so I need to eat dinner, and things like that.
Yeah.
You just work it out.
Yeah,
You just work it out, and he's retired also. So our life together is we just have to work out around, and now he's like, you got a fueling in your pocket, why don't you eat that? I'm gonna have a burger,
Yeah, that's great.
So he's adjusted to it.
That's good. Yeah, and one of the good things about it too is if you've got people in your life that aren't doing the plan with you, just to remind them and yourself, it's temporary. This portion's temporary.
Right.
Because eventually you're going to get to transition where you're adding regular food back in, and then you'll be in maintenance for the rest of your life. You'll know how to eat. So if you guys are deciding to go to lunch and your husband's wanting a big fat juicy hamburger and french fries, but that's not going to help you, you can choose wisely because by then you'll know what options are good for you.
And
portion control.
We're talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Like, I did stop to have a hamburger the other day, and it didn't even taste good.
I know.
Because I was looking so forward to it, and it didn't even taste that good.
I know, and
I would rather have a chicken breast and salad.
I know. That's been one of my favorite things because, like, my husband actually did do the program with us, and so he used to hate vegetables unless it was a sweet potato or French fries. And now he craves green vegetables. Like,
wow.
When we were on vacation, he was like, I can't wait to get home so we can eat normal.
So
our new normal.
All this traveling that we've been doing, we just came off of a 3.5 week trip where vegetables were very scarce.
Yeah.
Especially the last week, vegetables didn't exist. And we just couldn't wait to get home and have some broccoli and some salad. And we were just craving vegetables.
I love that. That's really great. Yeah, I really do love that. That's a perk of the program is that it really, once you've detoxed from all your sugars and white, starches and bread and all the things that you think you have to have, your body starts craving the healthy things.
You don't realize you're detoxing.
Yeah, that's true.
You really don't. You're just doing the program.
You're
just doing what they tell you to do. And that's the easy thing is you don't even have to think.
Yes, I know.
Just do what they tell you to do, and your body is detoxing itself. Your body is going into fat burn. Your body is getting used to healthy food and a healthy lifestyle. All you're doing is eating what they tell you to eat.
Yeah, when they tell you to eat it. Okay, so do you get support on this program? I mean, we've already mentioned you get a coach.
Support in what way?
like what kind of support did you get while you were doing the program?
Well, I mean, my husband was real supportive. I also really liked that there was a point along the way where you gave me some phrases, like, because we go to a church, they have church potluck every month, and every first Sunday of the month. And to sit at potluck and not eat, because there's not much at a church potluck that is on a healthy, lean and green diet.
Yeah.
So to have phrases like, I'm on a special eating plan right now, and, you know, I might eat next month. I mean, it was nice to have things to respond to. Or when you go to a party and you're not eating the birthday cake, or you're not eating. Well, for me, it's because I didn't want to go out of fat burn.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted that cake, because I really love birthday cake, I knew that was going to take me out of fat burn, and it wasn't worth that.
That's good.
So
yeah, so think, knowing ahead of time if it's worth it or not is great. That really does help you.
Go back to your why.
Yes.
That's in the first 5 chapters. So they'll have you write about your why. Why are you doing this?
Yes.
And those are the times you have to go back to your why. Do I want that birthday cake more than I want the reason that I even set out to do this program?
Right.
Or am I willing to bypass that birthday cake to reach my ultimate why?
Yes, which is great. And the glorious thing about it is everybody's whys are different. Like some people are doing it because they want off medications, or like me, I want to be able to play on the floor with my grandbabies one day. And there was no way I could have done that before.
And that was another why I forgot to even write down. Is I was on cholesterol meds, and I'm not now.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah, I'm not now. My doctor was thrilled when I went in, and she's like, "You don't need anything. You just go your happy way. I'll see you next year."
I know. I really love that.
Yeah, that was a goal of mine, was to get off all my meds, just because I would forget to take them. I'm like, I don't want to mess with this anymore.
Yeah.
So I just felt like the weight loss would help with reaching those goals of just not having to think about all this medication and stuff.
Yeah. So that's another way that it's cost effective, because down the road you're not paying for medication.
There you go.
That's really great. And I was going to say too, you get on the Optavia program, you get a coach, you get added to a private Facebook page with other people who are doing the same thing you're doing. You get nutritional support. But then while you're losing weight, you're also learning to rethink food, which I actually think I mentioned that earlier. Yeah. But anyway, those are 4 really great components that you get with this program.
Yes.
That was life-changing for Marty and I, and for my clients, because, like Marty had mentioned earlier, we've tried so many other things. And like my daughter could say the same thing. Well, Mom, you've been dieting your whole life. But, when I started this, I was 240 pounds. So that was the most I had ever weighed, and I yo-yoed forever. And the thing that was always missing for me was I was still craving sugars. I hadn't ever, it just seemed like no matter what I was doing, it was always being self-sabotaged or whatever. And, like Marty mentioned, this is so easy. It really is so easy. And then in the process, you are detoxing from the things that you crave, and you're learning as you're losing. So it's not like you have to learn all this stuff up front to be able to lose. You start losing, and then you're learning to rethink food while you're losing. So by the time you get to the end, you've got the knowledge to take care of yourself.
Also, we both experienced, like, the weight loss in the beginning was really rapid.
Yes.
And that's kind of nice. It keeps you motivated, but then it does taper off.
Yeah, you get to 1 to 2 a week.
If you get to 1 to 2 a week, that's good.
Yes, and you have to just be really thankful and stick with it.
That's the design. And
yes.
Just keep after it.
Yes, that's really great.
Because I think in my first week I lost 7 pounds. And so that's like, woohoo, it's going to be 7 pounds a week. Well, no.
Yeah, and actually that's not healthy on a regular weekly basis. Right. Yeah, you don't want to lose that much, even though it would be awesome for it to just disappear. Yeah. But yeah, the goal of the whole program is to do it in a healthy way. And I think one of the things, I can't remember if we mentioned this on program, because we've been talking before we started recording, But one of the things that Marty had pointed out earlier was, that we're not taking a bunch of supplements while we're doing this because the food is full of probiotics and vitamins. You don't need anything else.
And the probiotics, I think, are key.
I agree.
I think they made a big difference for me. And I've even looked at, when I get into maintenance, how can I add probiotics to my diet on an ongoing basis?
Yeah.
Because I think they were key.
Yeah, and the company actually has some if you want to stick with their probiotics, or you can just research.
All right.
And find some good ones.
All
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because not all probiotics are created equal. So whatever you do, you need to research where you're getting them from and how they digest in your system as well. Because if they digest in your stomach, you're not going to get the benefits of them as if they hang in there and digest in your intestines.
Okay.
So there's a probiotic tip.
Oh, interesting.
Tossed in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the intestine is where I need it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you want it to make it to your intestines.
So what was hard about the program?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I really love ice cream. I really love sweets. And I'm the reason that the pumpkin craze exists because I really, all things pumpkin, it's me.
Yeah, I love that.
But again, it goes back to knowing it would take me out of fat burn.
Yes.
It just wasn't worth it.
Right.
And then you even get to where you taste something sweet and you think, I don't even taste good. It's too sweet.
It's too sweet.
It's like nauseating, So, yeah. So again, I think eventually you find a balance. But while you're in active weight loss, you just the fuelings are sweet in themselves. A lot of them are sweet. There's savory ones, there's sweet ones, there's all different kinds. But you get enough of a bite of something sweet that you don't need to do anything on top of that.
Right. Exactly.
It's not worth getting out of fat burn.
Yeah. And the fuelings are sweetened with something that's healthy for your body, not destructive. Like, sugar's been compared to cocaine and how it affects your brain. So you don't want to be eating sweet stuff that's going to be causing you to crave more and more that's not healthy for you. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one of my whys was I have granddaughters and they're 4 and 7.
Yes.
And I want to go to the park with them. I want to run around. I want to play. I want, I don't want to be the grandmother that sits on the bench while they go play. So I want to actively be with them and play with them. I want to be around for them and make sure I'm healthy. And then it also going back to what my daughter told me that, oh, Mom, you've been dieting my whole life. I don't want my granddaughters to say, oh, my Mimi was dieting all her life, so she could never, and also just to find other ways to have, because usually our fun revolves around food.
Exactly.
It's donuts, ice cream, but to find other ways to have fun with the granddaughters, they love to go to the park. They would take that over ice cream. So to do that instead, and even to go to the park with some carrots and sit under a tree and have a little picnic. They would be okay with that because they're with grandparents and they're at the park. So
they're happy campers.
Right?
And you're setting a really great example for the next generation that, we don't have to be cramming ourselves full of junk to enjoy our time together.
Right.
So Marty and I, we're wrapping up right now because we need to end this. So hang in there for part 2, which will be a little bit of this, and then also how does a caregiver take care of themselves? Those will both be in the next program. So thank you guys today for joining us. This background music you're listening to is called Hope Restored from the CD Soaking Symphony by Janie Duvall.